Hello, my beautiful, wonderful friends. As you can see by the text slowly fading in the corner there, for some reason, this product was provided by Nintendo. Yes, that is right. This is the first game I've ever received as a game's quote-unquote journalist I've received by Nintendo themselves. It was very generous of them. They gave it to me yesterday just so I could try it out and just see what's up. So try it out, we shall. You will notice that I'm not sick this time. In the last two first impressions videos I did, I was sick for some reason. I'm not this time, although there is someone sick in my house right now, meaning that I'll probably get it very soon, and I'll be sick in time for the Super Mario Odyssey first impressions video, so don't worry. I'll try not to buck the trend too hard, so hopefully first Flempressions will still be a standing trend on my channel. So a little background on me: I've never really played a Warriors game. You know, like I dabbled in like a couple demos on like PS2 demo discs way back in the day or something, and I played a demo for Hyrule Warriors at Best Buy. But for the most part, I haven't really, I don't really know that much about what they're about. Is it Muso? Is that the Muso? I think is the name of it. It's not miso. That's the soup, right? No. I was interested in Hyrule Warriors when it first came out. It's been on my list of games to buy when, I don't know, I can find it cheap and I get around to it for a really long time now. It looked really cool. I was attracted by the Zelda because it looks like a big just love letter for Zelda. But like when I played that demo especially, and the more I looked into it, I was more interested than I expected to be. Like when I dug into what the actual Warriors part of it is, I found myself intrigued. Like there are definitely elements of the series that I'm like, oh yeah, like I can definitely get behind that. And then I'm also not super duper familiar with Fire Emblem. I know, like, why are you even playing this, man? No, hey, it's the fresh perspective. That's what I'm giving you right here, is a non-fan perspective. Fire Emblem looks really cool, though. It's one of those games I really wanted to get into, and I just, haven't gotten around to it. Barely any time, too many games to play. I played the demo for Awakening like 1,000 times. So, like, I obviously really like the gameplay. I just haven't gotten to it, but the series looks really awesome. The gameplay looks great. Looks really, really cool. So that's another reason I really wanted to try this out. I thought this would be fun to kind of get a little taste of the series that I am missing out on. So let's get into the game. I played it for about an hour, and and it starts out with this story. You got some characters, and I'm not okay. A third disclaimer that makes it even more like, why are you even playing this? I'm not super big on like anime JRPG kind of stuff, so at just a first glance the story isn't really captivating me. It seems like obviously there's going to be a lot more to it, but you got some guys and there's an evil something or other, and there's a princess and a princess, and I don't know, it didn't really capture me. But it's not, I don't know, it's not that big of a deal. I barely even scratched the surface. The voice acting is pretty cheesy. That's, if there's anything that I'm like half and it's like a love-hate thing. I'm like not a really big fan of the super cheesy voice acting, although it is fun in its own way. I will completely admit I had a good few chuckles of just the very cheesy kind of awkward dialogue that I experienced so far. The graphics so far are solid. Like they're nothing like super duper special. Nothing is wowing me, but I mean, they're certainly not bad. They are very solid. And the character models in the cutscenes are pretty much a cut above the rest. They're really nice and clean. They have that very pleasant kind of cell shading look. So I did enjoy that. That kind of stood out to me just in the cutscenes. All the movements and the animations are pretty good. All the move effects are fun. All the magical whoosh whoosh to killing all the guys with your sword. It all looks really nice. It's solid. The bad guys obviously have less detail than, like the main characters and stuff like that. But that is to be expected in a game like this because there's a million of them. Because there's a million billion of them and you're chopping them all over the place. Overall, though, yeah, like solid, and then performance is good, and this is more surprising because it's anything that they put this technically impressive on the Switch is impressive because of all the guys on the screen. That's why it is impressive, even if it doesn't look like super duper amazing. The Switch never struggles, even with all of those guys. Like I never had any problems. If I did, it was probably just like a couple dropped frames that I didn't even notice, if even that. you know, even I tried to push into like the biggest areas that I could to kill as many guys as I could all at once, and it was still totally fine. Like the performance just stayed solid the whole entire time. So that was impressive, but let's get on to the gameplay. And this is you know, this is the main attraction, is killing all these guys and hitting them with your sword and stuff. And right away, fighting feels good, and it feels good like it did. I think this is just a thing that they have down in these Warriors / miso soup games, is that just that good feel of fighting. It feels good to see all the dudes and to kill all the dudes at once. You know, it feels good to kind of suck them all up into your attack, especially when you're doing your big, huge attacks, and just blast them everywhere. It's a good formula, you know, mixing your heavy attacks and your light attacks. It's a lot of fun. This was a little easy. I set it on easy because I'm not experienced with the series, and like, I don't know. I usually pick normal on games, but then like when they give me like the little like, oh, this is for experienced player, like I listen to their little suggestions. I should probably just put normal. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm not experienced in these games, so I'll pick easy. It was a little too easy. I just kind of wailed on everyone, even the bigger like mid-boss and boss characters. I just kind of mashed them, and they never really got through. I just sat there mashing them forever until they were dead. So that was my fault there. You know, when I pick it up again, I'll definitely up the difficulty a little bit. You move around really fast in this game, and it makes the camera a little bit weird, a little bit awkward, because it's always like trying to keep up with you. This is a problem I had with Ukulele. You might remember how like just every little movement left or right kind of jerks the camera around to follow you. But at the same time, you move so fast that it just kind of feels good. Like it's a little more forgivable, that jerky camera, because you're just like, well, it's got to keep up with me, and I'm a lightning bolt. Like sometimes you can run around the map so fast and left and right, and it's fun because you're very, very mobile, and it's a good feeling to have. A small little detail, I love seeing both troops in a battle. I love how this actually feels like a battle rather than a game where you're just running around and there are a bunch of guys and you kill all the guys and it's just you and the guys. It's fun that you've got your other characters moving around. They're talking to each other. You know, that ups the kind of the story thing. And seeing your troops on the battlefield too is just fun because you see them rally around different areas, or when like you're taking over an area and you're defeating the guys, you can see the tide of battle turning, and I like that. It makes it feel, like I said, like a lot more like a real battle. You actually feel like you're taking over the map. I also love the feeling of covering a really wide area, you know, with that fast movement. You're just kind of like, oh, we gotta go over here to go protect this gate, or go protect this guy over here. Like you really feel like you're in just a really large area. If there's one single problem I had with the game, you know, with my short amount of time I've had with it, is the gameplay gets interrupted a lot. Now, a lot of this has to do with the tutorial, and I know that that's not going to be the case for the entire game. But, you know, when you are playing and you are new like me and you need to see that tutorial, like, it's every 4 seconds. It stops and tells you a new thing. And it's always in the middle of something. It's always like as you're attacking a guy or as you're moving or whatever. Just constantly, all the time, the pop-ups just telling you what to do. It got a little much. Like, I kind of almost wish there was like an actual, maybe a little training area or like material that I could read ahead of time, so I could just like sit there and read through it and learn the controls rather. Like, I mean, it's good like trial by fire to learn as you go. It keeps things moving, but at the same time, just starting and stopping over and over and over again, it got pretty oppressive. It got pretty annoying. I was sighing pretty heavily to myself whenever something popped up. But again, it's not going to be like that the whole game. There are a few other elements that stop the action and that aren't just because of tutorials. As one example, like whenever you start a new mission, like you get missions that come on like as you go, you know, like you'll go and someone will be like, oh, this guy over here is getting attacked. And it'll be like, boom, new mission, go help this guy. Or like, boom, side mission, go help these guys. But every time it does it, it doesn't just flash across the screen. It pauses the whole thing. And you have to like hit a button to confirm before you can keep going again. So like that's not just a tutorial thing, that's everything. And that was a little weird too. It's not like a big huge deal, a big deal breaker, but definitely weird that they would want it to be that way, especially having to like confirm. And I don't know, just a small thing, but a little weird. Now, like I said, I'm not exceptionally familiar with either of these two series, but from what I could tell, it was really fun to see what Fire Emblem elements they put into the game. you can pause at any time to issue tactics, like, which is pretty cool. It is another thing that kind of stops the gameplay, which is a little bit weird, but it's also very, very cool because that's the Fire Emblem element. You can pause and cursor around and like see your whole map, and you can tell guys to go to different areas. You can tell them to attack specific guys. So that's definitely fun because you can switch around your characters and you can move them around so that you're not switching to other sides of the map. It helps you kind of more control the tide of battle. And I didn't get to do a whole lot with it, but I could definitely tell that it's something that would be really important down the line to really get a grasp on how to do it and, you know, all the different little symbols and know what they mean and know exactly what to do. Then you got the weapon triangle. You know, you got swords, axes, and staves, staves, javelins, whatever it is, the long pointy ones. And, you know, and each one is weak against one and strong against the other. And like whenever you're up against like a mid-boss guy or whatever, it'll tell you if you're weak or strong against him. And so that's where switching different characters comes in. And so that's pretty cool. It discourages just mashing everybody with one guy. You know, you gotta move around. That's another tactical thing. They brought in more tactics. Then you got teaming up. You can run up to a guy and like pair onto them, and you can choose which one is the attacker and which one is the support, and that gives you like different specials and stuff. So like that's a whole entire thing. Then you got relationships. That's pretty sure that's the Fire Emblem thing where you know, when they fight together, they get little hearts above their head, and that makes them work better. And something about experience, I don't know, but that's a whole thing that sounds pretty cool too. A whole other element just on top of just, you know, mashing guys. Then you got like weapons. Like I didn't even see this coming. They're like, oh, you found a weapon. You know, you can go in and equip it, and different people, different weapons, and different strengths and stuff. So that's just another whole other element that's just fun. That's another thing to just get into. And really, with my short time with the game, it's obvious that there is just so much to it. Like, because of all these things that I mentioned, I only barely got a tiny little taste of them. But it's obvious that there's a whole, I don't know, just a whole range of systems. I barely got to touch all the different menus and different things. There's a lot to get into, you know. I kind of expected to go in and just be like, well, you know, you go and you kill a lot of guys and you capture areas or something and you just play through the story. But there's a lot more. There's so much of that Fire Emblem in it. And that's fun because for me, that's just more draw to the game. That makes it just more fun than just running around killing guys. So that's really, really cool. And like, it definitely encourages me to, you know, play a little bit more and like, hey, yeah, actually get into this and see what's up. I don't know if I'll have time to, but it certainly is drawing me. It certainly makes me tempted to dig in and see what's there. Unfortunately, I'm very sorry, but I will not be doing a full review. I do not have enough time. There's so many games I want to review, you guys, like, you don't even know, just like so many games. Anytime you're like, hey, you're gonna review this, I usually really want to, but reviews just take so much time. But Nintendo just wanted to, this was my first game they ever gave me, like I said, they wanted to give it to me just to try it out, just to check it out, make a video. This is not sponsored like the Mario and Rabbids was kind of like a little first impressions thing too. That was sponsored by. This one is not. They just gave me the game. No real obligations other than just, I don't know, try it out. And so I wanted to, and this is something I want to do more in the future. Like whenever they're willing or someone's willing, because I don't always have time to review a game, this is a way to kind of play it and make a fun video about it and talk about it and, you know, kind of touch on it without having to commit all of that extra time to doing the review. There's so many things for me to be doing. So I really do want to do these more in the future if the opportunities present themselves. It's an easier way to talk about more games. And I always hate how few games I'm able to talk about. I'm a gaming channel, for Pete's sake, a Nintendo one, and I get to talk about so few. So I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you enjoy ones in the future. Once again, thanks to Nintendo for the copy of the game. Fire Emblem Warriors, check it out. It's on the eShop. It's out right now. Came out yesterday. Sounds like a lot of people are pretty excited about it. And so far, from what I played, it's pretty cool. Like, there's a lot more to it than I ever expected. And if you at all like Fire Emblem and or the Warriors games, I don't think you could possibly not enjoy this game. I mean, like, why would you not? It looks pretty great. It's Fire Emblems plus Musou. So there you go. You're awesome. You have a good day. Catch you later.